Good day, everyone. Good day. I hope you are doing well and continue to be so. My name is Stacey Newson, and today's short presentation is on the origin of Black History Month. As a Black History buff, I'm excited to get into this little bit of detail with you all, and I hope that it will help you to better understand why we celebrate Black History today. Now, Dr. Carter G. Woodson founded Black History Month in 1926 is when it was first celebrated as an annual celebration. But it didn't become a global celebration or a widely known thing until 1976. Yes, it took that long, from 1926 to 1976. So one of the things that Woodson did to prepare for this, to go back, is that Dr. Carter G. Woodson was the founder and the co-founder of a lot of different organizations that focused on shining light on the Black experience and contributions made by Black Americans to civilization. One of his organizations was the Association for the Study of Afro-American Life and History. Another one, the Journal of Negro History. Dr. Carter G. Woodson also wrote many books before officially launching Black History Week. One of the most famous is The Miseducation of the Negro, which talked about how Blacks were educated, or in this sense, miseducated, coming out of slavery, and how a lot of the literature did not include the contributions of African Americans. So Woodson wanted to center that in his work with his organizations, with his books, and eventually this culminated in the celebration of Black History Week in 1926. Now, one of the reasons it was in February was because it was the combining of the honoring of Frederick Douglass and Abraham Lincoln, both of whom birthdays are in February. Now, you have to remember that 1926 is also around the time of the Harlem Renaissance movement of the 1920s, which was a social and artistic explosion of artistry from African Americans, writers, painters, poets, Langston Hughes and Zora Neale Hurston and Countee Cullen and Alan Locke and so forth and so on. And so around this time where Blacks were redefining themselves, before it became known as the Harlem Renaissance movement, it was known as the New Negro movement. And it was called the New Negro movement because Blacks had started to redefine themselves. We were not just farmers anymore. We were businessmen and women. We were entrepreneurs. We were homeowners. We were landowners. And this new image of what it meant to be Black in America had changed, and that whole thing. So the Harlem Renaissance movement and Carter G. Woodson's Black History Week kind of coincided with each other, and a lot of people grabbed hold to it and started to open their own business clubs and different things honoring the Black history. But Carter G. Woodson felt like it would be more impactful if Black History Week honored the entire Black community rather than just two men. People started taking February and using it as a month to celebrate Black history. And on as we started to make the transition from Negro to Black in the 60s, the Civil Rights Movement, so you had that going on in the 1960s. You also had the Black Power movement going on in the 1960s. The Black Panther Party for Self-Defense with Huey Newton and Bobby Seale was big at the time. And that's when celebrating Black History Week really turned into Black History Month. And so eventually, finally, in 1976, 50 years after the inaugural celebration, we go from Black History Week to Black History Month. Thank you guys for taking this time to hear my short presentation on the origin of Black History Month, you can now teach this to your children and your family and your friends. And next year, when February comes around, not only can you show your pride and Black history, but you can also, despite whatever nationality you are, show your pride in knowing where it came from. So thank you to Dr. Carter G. Woodson for helping to found Black History Week, which eventually became Black History Month.